Well, hello one and all, and welcome to our short on reading and writing files. I have here a file called alice.txt that contains the full text for Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. My goal is to first see what's inside of this file, and hopefully, if I can, actually extract one of the chapters from this file. Maybe my goal is to take this long book, this full text, and break it down into individual chapters. Well, I'll see here if I keep scrolling that chapter 1 begins on line 53 of this file. And it keeps going all the way down to about line 271 or so is when chapter 2 starts to begin. So my goal would be to take what's in this file, take all the text inside of it, and put it in a new file, but a subset of that, only chapter 1 in this case. So to do that, I could use Python. Here I have a program called book.py, and you now know in Python exactly how to open files. You've seen from lecture that we could use this keyword called with, where with opens up a new context for us in which some file might be open. So for instance, if I use this open function here, and I provide as input the file name, alice.txt, and I give it some name, well now this file, alice.txt, will be called f within this context, the indented part of this with statement here. So here, I'm combining two different structures in Python. This with statement, also called a context manager, and this open function to open up a file for me. Well, let's dive into what it means to open a file here. Again, this open function supposedly opens a file, allows me to see what's inside of it. But there are multiple ways I could open this file. One way, or one mode I could use to open this file is for reading. The first argument to open is, of course, the file name, but the second argument is the mode in which I want to open this file. Turns out there are multiple modes. One, of course, is the ability to read the file, just see what's inside of it and use it in my program. Another mode, though, is to write to the file or to add data to it. Reading and writing are the analogy works just in the real world too. If you read something, you see the text on the page. If you write something, you're adding something to the page. Very similar with read and write. Now for now, I really just want to read this file. I want to see what's inside of it. So I'll open this file in reading mode. And again, within this context, I will call this file alice.txt f. So now that I have an open file that I'm calling f in this context, what could I do? Well, I could actually ask Python to see what's inside of this file for me. This file here comes with a method called read that I could use to read the text that's inside of it. I've prepared the file to be read by using open, but now I'm actually going to read it using the read method. So I'll say this. I'll say I have a variable called contents, and its value is the result of calling f.read, where again, read is a method on this file that actually does the work of reading the text inside of it. Let's see what we get back when I print contents down below. I'll run python of book.py, and we'll see the entirety of the text that was in alice.txt. So read seems to work. Read is good for reading an entire file all at once. But let's say I want to read this file, but not get back the entire string. Because here, contents, it seems, is just one big string of all the text inside my file. Well, I can actually use a different method, one called read lines. Read lines will return to me not just one big string, the entirety of my file, but it will return to me a list of individual lines in my file. It will still, like read the entire file, but it will give me back individual lines inside of a list. So for instance, if I look at this file here, notice how I actually have data on different lines. This text is on line 1, this text is on line 2, this text is on line 3, read lines will, when I print it here, actually give me back, in this case, every line in this file as an item in a list. And let's see this. If I use my list indexing here, I could do contents bracket 0. I'll run python of book.py now, and I'll see only the first line. So read lines, again, giving back a list of individual lines in my file. Handy, at least in this context here. So let's see. I wanted to get back just the lines for chapter 1. So I wonder if I could make a new variable, maybe call it chapter 1, and then take some subset of the contents, of the lines that I have in this contents list. Well, let's go back to our file. And we said that in this case, chapter 1 began on line 53. So here in my list, I'll say I want to begin taking items from my list at the 53rd element, or at least index 53. Actually, no, because we're indexing from 0. So 0, I think I should use 52. 52, in fact. So I'll use 52 here. And we'll go all the way down to 272. Again, although our lines are numbered here using 1 indexing, in our list we're using 0 indexing. So here I have chapter 1 contents, and let's just check. I'll do chapter 1 and get the first element and see if that's correct. I will see chapter 1. So I've now taken a subset of the items from my list. Well, now that I have them in a Python variable, how could I write this list of lines to a new file? Well, I could use much the same structure. I could say with open, and now I could open a new file for myself. I could call this one chapter1.txt. But now, because I want to write data, add data to it, I should open it using the writing mode. And I can, in this context, still call it f. Notice here how I have 2 files I'm calling f. This actually doesn't pose a conflict. In this context, again, this context only exists as long as I'm indented here. When I stop indenting, that context goes away. I no longer have this file named f or access to it. In this context here, I'm opening up a new one. I'm again calling this new chapter1.txt file f within this context. Because we're in 2 different contexts, they don't conflict. Let's see. So here I have my file f, which is this chapter1.txt file that I have ready to write to. But similar to using read, I need to actually write to it. This file is ready to be written to, but I need to still write to it. So there is a method called write that I could use here. As a test, I could say chapter1, for instance. Let's see what happens here. I'll run python of book.py, and let's open up chapter1.txt. Here I see chapter 1. So similar to read, write is good for writing a single string to a file. But here, in my chapter 1 list, I don't have a single string. I have a list of strings. So I could use this function, writeLines, and I could pass as input that list of lines I want to write. So here, let's run this. I'll run python of book.py, and let's see. I now have chapter 1 down the rabbit hole with the entire contents of chapter 1 located here. Oh, I think I've gone a little bit too far, but we can fix that elsewhere in our code. So here, what I've done is I've again opened up alice.txt for reading. I've used read lines to get access to its contents as individual lines. I've then subset my list using list slicing here, and I've then used open with the writing mode to then write lines to this new file. This is how you can open, read, and write files in Python. This then was our short, and we'll see you next time.